All right, get ready for an epic showdown. Today, we're putting two of the universe's heavyweights head-to-head in the ultimate race, light versus sound. So, who's faster? And who has the coolest tricks? Let's dive in and find out. So, think about this. Have you ever been in a thunderstorm and noticed something kind of weird? You see that big, bright flash of lightning across the sky, and then you wait 1, 2, 3 seconds, and then boom. You finally hear the thunder. So why is there a delay? Well, stick around because we are about to solve that mystery. To figure this all out, we've got to start with our first contender in the race. Let's talk about sound. Okay, so every single sound you've ever heard starts with something called a vibration. Now, that's just a sciencey word for a really quick back and forth movement, a little wiggle. From a tiny whisper to a huge rocket engine, it all starts with a vibration. A perfect way to picture this is to think about a guitar string. When you pluck it, you can actually see it shaking back and forth super fast, right? That's the vibration. That's the wiggle that kicks off the whole sound. So, okay, the guitar string is wiggling over there, but how does that wiggle travel all the way across the room and get into your ears so you can hear it? I mean, it doesn't just teleport there. It needs a little help to make the journey. And that helper has a name. It's called a medium. Now, I know that might sound like a complicated word, but it's actually super simple. A medium is just the stuff that sound needs to travel through. Without a medium, sound is totally stuck. It can't go anywhere. And you know what? Sound is not very picky about its medium. It can travel through gases, like the air all around us. It can travel through liquids. If you've ever been underwater at a pool and heard a splash, that's sound moving through water. And it can even travel through solids, like when you hear footsteps through a wall. All right, so I think we've got a pretty good handle on sound. So now it's time to meet the second contender in our big race, light. And this right here is where we crack the case of the lightning and thunder. Light is unbelievably, mind-blowingly fast. In fact, it's the fastest thing in the entire universe. Period. Sound, well, sound is way slower. And that's it. That's why you see the flash of lightning instantly, but it takes a few seconds for the slow poke sound of thunder to finally get to your ears. Mystery solved. But just being the fastest isn't light's only talent. Oh no, it has a couple of other amazing abilities that are basically like real-life magic tricks. Let's check them out. Okay, here's trick number 1. How is it that you can see your own face when you look in a mirror? Or, how can you see a perfect copy of the trees on the surface of a calm lake? The answer is our next big idea, reflection. And reflection is just a simple way of saying that light bounces off of a surface. The light from your face travels to the mirror, hits it, and then bounces right back into your eyes. Simple as that. Think of it like this. If you throw a tennis ball straight at a hard wall, it's going to bounce straight back to you, right? Well, that is exactly what light does when it hits something smooth and shiny, like a mirror. Okay, you ready for light's second big trick? I'm sure you've seen this one before. You put a totally straight straw into a glass of water, and suddenly, where it goes into the water, it looks like it's bent. What is going on there?
This isn't an optical illusion, it's just more science. The official term for this trick is refraction. Refraction happens when light actually bends as it moves from one thing into another, like when it goes from the air into the water. This bending trick is so important, it's actually the science that makes eyeglasses and telescopes work.
So get this, the straw isn't actually bent at all. Your eyes are just being tricked because the light traveling from the straw is bending as it leaves the water to get to you. It's light's amazing bending trick. Whew, okay, we have covered a lot of ground here. So what are the biggest, most important things to take away from all this? Let's do a quick recap. Let's lock in these 4 big ideas. First, we've got vibration. Remember, that's the little wiggle that starts every single sound. Then there's the medium. That's the stuff, like air or water, that sound needs to travel. For light, we have reflection, its awesome bouncing act. And finally, refraction, light's super cool bending trick. So we've learned that light is the fastest thing around. It can bounce off of things, and it can even bend. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If light can do all of that, what other secret powers could it possibly be hiding?